What up, everybody? With only 5 episodes left of Power Book 2, one of the questions to ask is the story of Effie Morales coming to an end. Because the first half of the season, Effie had a reduced role on the show, specifically in the last 2 episodes when she was only in 2 scenes. But there is still so many unanswered questions that remain in Effie's story, as she is one of the most mysterious characters in the Power universe. The beginning of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4 started out right after Effie betrayed Tariq at the end of Season 3, telling Noma that Tariq was targeting her daughter Anya so Effie could get in Noma's good graces. But after Noma put a $100,000 bounty on the heads of Tariq and Brayden each, Effie tried to make it up to Tariq by warning him that Kane was on campus looking for him. But Effie had betrayed Tariq too many times at this point. So because he was still pissed off about all the times that Effie had betrayed him, specifically the most recent time, he rejected Effie's attempt to make up with him. But as soon as he had a personal problem, when he found out that the Hottest went behind his back to try to have his mother killed, Effie was the first person Tariq turned to. This is because Effie probably gets Tariq better than anyone else. In Season 1, Effie told Tariq she gets it, that Tariq doesn't know how to make friends. The only friend he really has is Brayden, and that's always been centered around the business. But at this point, when Tariq went to talk to Effie, she didn't have much to say to him, other than he knows better than anyone how the game goes, because she had recently got played by Tariq and used as a pawn to get Kane to take Roman off the board for him. And because of that, Effie is now on her own again, because once Kane found out that it was Tariq who told Effie about Roman's product, this caused her and Kane to have a falling out, and that ended their short-lived relationship. But during this time, 2 things happened that could impact Effie's future moving forward. Kane needed her help to get the Russians on board. This caused her to miss a meeting with someone from the Stanford admission department, causing her to have to type a letter to send her application. But when Effie went to talk to the Russians with Kane, their boss agreed under the condition that Effie would be his direct contact. So Effie has now elevated in the game, not just as the Ivy League distro, but also branching out with the Russians as well. But Effie only had 2 minor scenes in the last 2 episodes combined. The scene I mentioned with her and Tariq, then Noma questioned Effie about selling to her daughter, only for both of them to realize that Tariq was back in business. But a big question to ask is, why has Effie had a reduced role so far in Season 4? Does this mean that her story is coming to an end? Possibly, but at the same time, I also think it could actually mean the opposite. With this being the final season of Power Book 2 Ghost, I feel like there's a lot of storylines that need to be wrapped up, and there will likely be a lot of character deaths in the second half of the season. A few days ago, I brought up all the main character deaths in Power Season 6, and there was over 10, leaving just a few characters continuing to the next spin-offs. Tariq, Tasha, Tommy, Sax, Tate, as well as Brayden and Effie returning with bigger roles. Because of that, I think at least 2 of the Tejadas will die, possibly 3, and leaving only 1 member of their family remaining. And I think 2 out of the 4 between Brayden, Carter, Noma, and Davis will get knocked off, and Kamal and Zion will also have Christmas canceled. And I think there's a small chance that Tariq could get taken out also. So that's a lot to cover in just 5 episodes. But as far as Effie, she could get smoked just like anybody else. But at the same time, her Season 4 character description concludes with she's a survivor. So I think that Effie's reduced role actually means the opposite. That there's a whole lot more to Effie's story to tell. And the reason why she has reduced role this season is because the focus is more around the characters whose story will be coming to an end. If Effie were to be one of the casualties in the final episodes, in my opinion, it would be a complete waste of character who has been getting built up since OG Power. Because Effie, Josefina Morales, is still, like I said, one of the biggest mysteries in the Power universe. First and foremost, because we honestly don't even know how much of what she says, if any of it, is even true. She's been playing Tariq from the time she met him at show, telling him he didn't need to sell drugs, that they went to that school to do better, to be better. only for Effie to turn around and accept Tariq's job offer. Then when he was out of product, she texted a mystery person calling Tariq her competition. Then again, when Tariq confronted Effie about getting him expelled, she admitted she was taking out the competition, but out of necessity, saying Tariq didn't have to move pills at Choate, but she couldn't even pay for her books. In Ghost Season 1, we found out that Effie moved coke. So if I was guessing, Effie was moving coke before he got there, and when the kids started buying pills from Brayden, it cut into her profits. But at the same time, this doesn't explain how she couldn't even afford books if she was already in the game. Because even her entire wardrobe had changed from when she was at Choate to when she was reintroduced in Book 2. But we also know whoever Effie's mystery plug is stopped answering the phone, and she is no longer in contact with him. I believe that her plug was either Rico or DC Joe. Both were killed by Monet at the end of Season 1. Because in Season 1 at Parent Weekend, Effie had products still, but by the time Season 2 rolled around, Effie was waiting to get product from Tariq and Brayden when they gave her the bricks of sugar that Kane switched out. So because the two timelines add up, this is why I think Rico or DC Joe was most likely Effie's first plug. At the same time, there's also a chance that Effie is originally from DC and moved when she got the scholarship to Choate. I believe Choate is in Connecticut. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. But this just goes to show what I'm talking about concerning Effie. There's still so much we don't know about her. I don't think she's getting killed off the show. Because she's such a mystery. She's been around for 5 seasons now, and we still don't even know where she's from. But like I said, I'm not sure if we can believe anything Effie has said about her past. One thing we do know for sure is that she's a con artist. She told the Russian boss that she makes her own destiny because she hacks into shit. When Effie was first getting to know Tariq at Choate, she told him a story about her brother and how he got killed in a robbery gone wrong, and how her mother hadn't been sober a day since. Again, I don't even know if we should believe this story or not, because this was right around the same time that Raina got killed. And after Effie told this story, she proceeded to ask Tariq about his sister, saying she read about it in the paper. So she could really have a brother who was killed, or she could have been making the whole story up to try to trauma bond with Tariq. But if she did have a brother who was killed, if he was an OG Power character, I have 2 characters in mind who it could possibly be. I've talked about before the possibility of Effie being from DC, and Dirt, the kid who was killed in a jewelry store robbery by Kanan, could possibly be her brother. The other character I could see being Effie's brother is Miguel Alvarez. This would be a complete full circle moment because Miguel was killed in the pilot episode of Power. And why was Miguel killed by Ghost? Not because he committed a robbery. It was deeper than that. It was because Miguel wouldn't give up who sent him because the person had leverage on him with none other than Miguel's family. So Miguel sacrificed his own life because he didn't want to risk his family's safety. So if Effie is Miguel's sister, this would tie her into the beginning of it all. Another mystery concerning Effie is her lawyer, who she told Davis McLean about in Season 3. She told Davis that she didn't need him because she already had someone, but she couldn't get through to him because the guards kept letting people jump in line in front of her. And with just 5 episodes left, I do think that Effie's story will pick back up in the second half of the season and also set the stage for Effies Role on another book. If Effie survives into another book, we could then possibly get more information into her backstory. And we also know that Effie has a plan to make it out the game and go to Stanford to study robotics. This has been her exit strategy since she got in the game, and she even wrote freedom on her card in the Stansfield classroom scene. But Effie still has Noma to deal with, who's not just going to let her out the game, and we can tell from the trailer that she's also going to have a run-in with Carter and his task force. This could cause Effie to get stuck in the game. Then she would have to find a new exit strategy to get out the game once Stanford is no longer an option. Almost reminiscent to James St. Patrick in Power. Episode 2, when Effie was dealing with the Russians, also showed her potential. And I would also like to get a closer look into how Effie hacks into things in the next spinoff as well. Because like Kane told Monet, the game is changing. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.